Meanwhile, Harvard has come out and said dietary cholesterol does not move the needle of your blood cholesterol.
On average, dietary cholesterol does not change your serum cholesterol levels very much because most of our cholesterol is produced inside of our liver. With that being said, on average, as we increase dietary cholesterol, we will see a small rise in blood cholesterol and blood LDL levels. However, this graph gives us some extremely important insight. These are graphs of individual differences in response to increasing levels of dietary cholesterol. As you increase cholesterol intake, some people see a decrease in their blood levels of cholesterol. Most see little to no change, but some people see extremely large increases in their serum and LDL cholesterol levels. The reason comes down to individual variability. Cholesterol absorption occurs in the small intestine. Dietary cholesterol enters into the lumen of the small intestine, where it can be absorbed by intestinal cells called enterocytes, packaged into what are called chylomicrons, and sent into the lymph system, which eventually end up in our blood circulation. Cholesterol is absorbed through a specific transporter called the Niemann-Pick C1-like-1 transporter. And inside of this enterocyte, we can actually evict cholesterol back into the lumen through another transporter called the ABCG5 or the ABCG8 transporter. The cholesterol that is evicted back into the lumen eventually ends up in our stool. And this is how we can regulate the amount of cholesterol we actually absorb, and our small intestine can actually evict excess cholesterol. However, if you have a polymorphism or a genetic difference in the functionality of your Niemann-Pick C1-like-1 transporter, you actually have enhanced cholesterol absorption from the intestinal tract, which leads to elevated levels of LDL cholesterol and elevated risk and occurrence of coronary heart disease. Furthermore, some people have genetic defects in their ABCG5 and ABCG8 genes, which makes them highly responsive to the influence of dietary cholesterol. And when they eat dietary cholesterol, they see large increases in their cholesterol levels because they have a limited capacity to evict cholesterol out of the intestinal tract, and more gets absorbed and ends up in circulation. And in population-based studies, low cholesterol absorption and effective elimination is related to low risks of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, whereas those with high cholesterol absorption and less effective elimination pathways have an elevated risk of ASCVD, meaning your genetic makeup will drastically alter your response to a high cholesterol diet, which certainly appears to alter your risk of cardiovascular complications. With that being said, another function of the ABCG5 and G8 transporter is to take plant cholesterols called phytosterols and cytosterols and get rid of as many of them as possible. Essentially, anytime these plant cholesterols get into the enterocyte, the job of this transporter is to evict them as speedily and readily as possible, because these phytosterols are just as, if not more, dangerous than cholesterol itself, because they mimic cholesterol, which is actually required in the body, but they are dysfunctional and can lead to things like anemia, enlargement of the spleen, xanthomas, thrombocytopenia, which is low red blood cells, which typically occurs because phytosterols can actually cause our red blood cells to stiffen and rupture, and can lead to complications with the liver, increased risk of arthritis, and premature atherosclerosis. Therefore, advice by many individuals to increase your consumption of phytosterols to decrease your cholesterol may have great benefits for some people, but may be extremely dangerous for others who have increased absorption and decreased excretion of phytosterols. In the grand scheme of things, depending on your planned intake of dietary cholesterol or dietary phytosterols, you may benefit from getting diagnostic testing done of your current level of serum plant sterols, as well as genetic testing, to understand if a high cholesterol or high plant sterol diet may or may not be beneficial or deleterious to your health. If your plan is to simply increase your consumption of dietary cholesterol, getting a test and retest done is likely the only necessary diagnostic tool to understand your susceptibility to how dietary cholesterol would change your serum cholesterol levels. But certainly before you begin taking a phytosterol supplement or increase your consumption of phytosterols, it may be helpful to test your current serum level of plant sterols and possibly get a genetic test done if you are worried about it. With that being said, if you would like an individualized approach to nutrition and lifestyle to optimize your health, energy, and body composition, send me a DM to sign up for coaching.